LeBron won't win the MVP this year because Giannis had a better season. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, so there's more to it than that, but that is the essence of it. Giannis has had a far better season than LeBron, or anyone else for that matter. If the season hadn't shut down, LeBron would have had a chance to overtake Giannis in the MVP race. But unfortunately, it did shut down, and the NBA decided to only include the games prior to the shutdown for MVP and other award considerations. But even if they included these final bubble games, 8 or so games, they aren't gonna make much of a difference. At least not for individual stats. Giannis is putting up monster numbers, averaging 29.6 points and 13.7 rebounds. LeBron is leading the league in assists with 10.5, while taking over the point guard duties for the Lakers. But that is pretty much the only place that LeBron is ahead of Giannis. Giannis has the highest efficiency rating in the league at 31.6, and that's the 5th highest in NBA history. He's also leading the league in plus-minus, win shares per 48 minutes, and he has the 3rd highest points per 36 minutes of all time. LeBron is actually doing pretty well defensively this year, especially when compared to his past seasons, but Giannis is on another level. He's actually in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, and he has led his team to the best record in the NBA. Giannis also doesn't have another top 5 player like Anthony Davis on his team. He has another all-star in Chris Middleton, but that's far from the same thing. There was a point in the season when there was AD MVP conversations, and people were questioning if he was the best player on the Lakers. If you take both LeBron and Giannis off of their respective teams, I think they would both still be in the playoffs, probably in the lower seeds. The Bucks being in a weaker East, and a Laker team with AD as their best player could probably squeeze their way into the playoffs. So as far as records go, I think they would be similar. But the Bucks system and roster are built around Giannis. When the Lakers put together this team, they did so considering both LeBron and AD. So who is more valuable to his team? Considering that the Bucks are basically the Milwaukee Greek Freaks, I'd have to say Giannis. The biggest argument I've heard for LeBron James is that he's having a great year, leading his team, all while being 35 years old. And this is true. LeBron is having the best 35-year-old season ever. No other 35-year-old has had a season like LeBron, and this should definitely be appreciated and celebrated. But age isn't something that should be considered when talking about MVP. It's simply who had the better season, regardless of age. LeBron is having a historical season, but so is Giannis. Don't get me wrong, what LeBron is doing is nothing short of extraordinary, and it's something we can't take for granted. We need to appreciate his greatness. But giving him the MVP when someone else is more deserving isn't the way to do it. In fact, arguing for LeBron to win the MVP is actually diminishing the greatness of his season. Of course, his teammates and his coach are going to support LeBron's MVP case. That's their boy. But everyone else, the media, the fans, all those pushing the LeBron MVP narrative, are actually diminishing his season by putting this unfair expectation out there. And when it doesn't happen, the focus will shift from this great season that he's having to him losing the MVP. If, for example, I was to say the Thunder are going to win the NBA championship, and I got a whole bunch of reputable people to push that same narrative, I would get a lot of people, including the Thunder fans, to believe it. And when it doesn't happen, there'll be nothing but disappointment. It'll totally take away from the great season that they're having, getting to the playoffs despite losing their superstars last season. But there's no way in hell that they're winning the championship. And putting out that unrealistic expectation would only be detrimental to the team, whereas saying nothing would allow everyone to appreciate what a great season they are having. The same goes for LeBron. There's no shame in being second place in MVP voting when you're freaking 35 years old. It's truly remarkable. Instead of putting this unreasonable expectation on him to win the MVP, let's just appreciate the greatness of his season. Do I believe that Giannis is a better player than LeBron? Hell no. And I think LeBron will show he's still the best player in the NBA come playoff time. The fact that he's even in the MVP conversation honestly had me a little nervous. Save some of that for the playoffs. Well, LeBron isn't concerned about individual awards. He's not concerned about regular season MVP. What really matters is the finals MVP. Let the people who are focused on the regular season have the MVP. Our priority is championship 17 in LeBron's year 17.